District 9 is directed by a guy named Neill Blomkamp, who's a South African Canadian who made really big waves about 4 years ago when he released a 6-minute-long short film called Alive in Joburg that you can go watch on YouTube, that was breathtaking, both in concept and execution. He directed it and did the CGI, and it was about aliens living in ghettoized conditions in apartheid South Africa. And thankfully, for people that like good movies, his feature debut, which expands on the ideas that he put forward in the short, is as auspicious a debut as I can remember, literally ever in my lifetime watching movies. Set 20 plus years after a huge alien mothership settled into the skies above Johannesburg, District 9 is a mockumentary about a bumbling, ineffectual, but very friendly bureaucratic functionary from the MNU, the governmental service set up to police and keep separate the 1.8 million aliens that now live in apartheid conditions in Johannesburg. The aliens, rudely referred to as prawns, are described as a worker caste whose leadership has died probably from illness, which is what's left them stranded over Earth. And they're forced by the humans to live in a shantytown ghetto called District 9. Wikus Vandermeeuwe, who's an MNU employee that's married to the daughter of the head of the ruthless arms company that controls and patrols the aliens, is tasked with going into District 9 and getting signatures on eviction notices from all of the aliens so that the eviction process at least has the gloss of legality. And while he's there, he makes an inadvertent discovery in a shack that will change the nature of the human-alien relationship entirely. It's fantastic. It's novel, but at the same time, it's a pastiche. It's parts of the goofy Australian documentary Cane Toads, it's parts of Enemy Mine, Independence Day, Alien Nation, Mech Warrior, and weirdly, the video game Half-Life 2. And at the same time, it's utterly original, doing things, certainly formally, that have never been done in sci-fi before. It's spectacular, it's gory and visceral and full of action, but it never dips into gratuitousness. And it's even really well acted. Of course, the film has flaws, some big ones. The plot is kind of clunky and relies way too much on coincidence. One canister of magic bean juice should not be able to do that many important things in plot. And despite being an excoriation of apartheid-era racism in South Africa, the film itself has a bunch of pretty blatant racism in it, should you go looking for it. I mean, one of the subsets of groups of villains in the film are the Nigerians, who are cartoonishly evil cannibals and witch doctors that play the aliens and the humans off against each other and menace both aliens and the white characters in menacing click talk. But maybe it's not racism, maybe it's meta-racism or meta-ironic commentary on racism, and I don't get it. The point is that the film manages to overcome all of its very real flaws just by dint of its very real, sheer, concentrated cinematic joy, a reckless abandon and a freedom that gave me the feeling for the first time in a long time in a movie that literally anything could happen. The story could go in any direction and I'd follow. It wasn't circumscribed by having one-dimensional tough guy Will Smith hero characters, or the need to have an ensemble of snake eyes and different ninjas and guys that drove tanks and cool cars and stuff like that, and the need to sell toys. And it wasn't hampered by the need to cut away every 3 minutes to a big booby babe in peril so that you could have some cute girl to stick on the poster. It's original, it's novel, and because of that, it's joyous and cinematic in a way that feels kind of revolutionary, if it wasn't so old-fashioned. It's got incredibly well-done effects, new effects, and the action feels visceral in a way that action in a lot of some of the movies don't, because it involves characters that you care about, characters that just aren't killing machines. Wikus, the action hero in this movie, is a bumbling, mutated office worker who's controlling a mech warrior and not doing it very well. And as a result, the action is both heart-pounding and interesting, which I didn't think I would be able to say about a film kind of ever again. And it's also got a story that's well-written enough, original enough, and compelling enough that in the final moments of the film, as the alien mothership floats above Johannesburg, a large part of me wanted it to just scorch the earth so that the aliens would win. It's a landmark film in sci-fi, and it's a landmark film in summer blockbusters. And for all of the people that say that the months between May and September are just a brainless void of stupid, one-note, repetitive movies, their argument's been dealt a gloriously dirty blow by Neill Blomkamp and Peter Jackson, who produced it, by the way. Oh, and I give it a 9.8.